Hello and welcome to another episode of the Deceptive Reality podcast. My name is Nick, who never forgets the name of the episode or the TV show or whatever we're on right now. And with me is
the man that never has forgotten the podcast name. For the record, let me tell you, I'm kind of proud of Nick here lately. He's been on a zinger with these podcast names.
Oh yeah, but I got to tell you too, you've been trying to throw me off my game, and it's just not working anymore.
It's because it's funny to me, Nick.
That's funny to me too.
I find it funny. I can't help myself. It's hilarious because when you get it wrong, you freak out a little bit, and I like it.
I know. I panic. But it's a little bit of early episode dementia is what I go through. It's a little scary for me, to be honest.
That's true. Listen, hey, it's all that soda. Remember back in the day, they used to say aluminum cans was what was causing it. It was the aluminum cans that was taking our memory away, Nick.
Well, now it's the microplastics.
It probably really is. It really is. We can't drink our soda in nothing, Nick. No,
we got to get it in like handfuls from the store.
Golly.
And they got to make it right there.
I just watched this thing this week, kind of freaked me out a little bit. It was about liquid soap.
Oh, I use liquid soap. Everyone does.
Me too. All the time. They're saying it's bad. You shouldn't do it. You should be using bar soap.
Why though? Why? I need a good reason, compelling reason. It's
the chemicals inside it that creates it to be liquid.
It's not just wet soap?
No.
What is it? Like, did they say in particular?
They used really big science words, and we're podcasters, Nick.
Yeah, we do. That's not going to help us at all.
No. But I mean, the guy that told me all about it, I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't sound good. But they have this device now, and you can hang it on the wall, kind of like they have those soap dispensers.
Right.
But you put a bar of soap in there, and when you push the button, it scrapes little particles of the soap onto your hand, and then you put under water and you lather up with it.
Okay. So let's get real. I need let's get down to brass tacks here.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to me if I keep using liquid soap? Because I love liquid soap.
They say your hands fall off.
Oh, I got two.
Yeah.
I'll just wash one.
Just wash one.
Yeah. No, that can't be. No one's hands fall off. No,
they just said it's bad for you. They said that it can reduce or it can incorporate things into your body that shouldn't be in there.
Microplastics.
Probably microplastics.
Probably. Yeah. You know what's a big, I'm not even going to say fad now because it's been going on for so long here. But what like a lot of women and maybe some men around here love to do is make soap.
Just make it like.
Yeah. Is that not a thing down where you are?
No, it's not at all. We buy our soap, Nick. We don't find any enjoyment in doing labor. Oh,
they love it. Like they go out and they make like 40 bars of this kind and 40 bars of that kind. My brother's girlfriend does it. My mom does it when she's not busy doing other things. They love it. It's fun.
That's crazy.
You know what? It even looks like fun to me too, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, that's way too much work for me, Nick. I couldn't do that. There's no way.
I like customized things, though.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. I know that up there, you guys, you're a little more labor intensive. You guys like doing things.
We do like doing things.
Americans are lazy. Okay. I don't know if you know this or not.
I know there's Americans who like doing things too, though.
No, we don't do nothing.
No. You don't. I bet you there's people making soap all around you and you don't even know it.
No way.
Really?
No way.
You don't have farmers markets and there's always like homemade soap there.
No, we just do the lazy stuff. We just get honey and stuff.
Yeah. Getting honey. There's nothing lazy about that because you got to be around those horrid bees.
I bet you anything, Nick, it's a whole lot easier than making soap.
Less dangerous. Although making soap can be dangerous.
It can be dangerous. That is true.
Yeah. There's like different chemicals at play that isn't good. Oh, wait, I bet it's those chemicals in the soap.
That's what I was going to say, Nick. Now you guys got to see even your bars of soap have chemicals up there, Nick.
Jeez, Louise, you can't have nothing.
They've got that soap, but you mentioned them last week, Nick. Dr. Squash.
Yeah, Dr. Squatch.
It's all natural ingredients. There's no chemicals in that.
Maybe so. but still, I can't get over that it's made by a Sasquatch. They're stinky.
Listen, Dr. Squatch, if you would like a segment in our show for the low nominal fee, we can listen. We would love to have an all natural product on our podcast.
Yeah, I will say this is since we did that episode, I've talked to a couple people I know who do use that.
Oh, I use it.
They swear by it.
Oh, I love Dr. Squash.
Yeah. Oh, you used it already then?
Yeah, I use it.
That's
what I'm saying. They could be a sponsor. I actually use their product, Nick.
I just switched my body wash. It's now, they've got a Batman scent of Old Spice.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's called, Dark Cherry and Nightfall.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't used a body wash in probably a year.
No? You go with the Squatch bars.
That and Canon. Canon also makes.
Canon?
Yep. It's a bar company. It's interesting. They made, this is horrible. They made some bars of soap that was based on beers.
On beers?
Yeah. So like one would be like a Budweiser bar of soap.
That turns me off of soap real bad because I know very well the smell of sour booze on people, and that's all I can think of when you're telling me this.
And you're not a big fan of it, Nick?
No.
What is wrong with you, Nick?
I'm sure it smells great. Like, I'm sure what you're telling me is it smells like nice, fresh, cool beer.
Yeah.
But all I'm picturing is someone who's been drinking all night and right sloppy.
No, it actually smells pretty good. But Canon, they've got a whole bunch. It's called Duke Canon.
Okay. That sounds like a strong name.
Yes, Duke. You can't get no stronger than the Duke, Nick. Do you know who the Dick? That's a different one. Do you know who the Duke was, Nick?
No. Who?
You don't know who the Duke is?
Wait. I thought you were talking about Duke Cannon. You're talking about John Wayne.
John Wayne. There we go. Now we're talking, Nick. I was a little concerned.
Good?
Huh?
You think he smelled good?
Oh, yeah. No, he didn't smell good at all, Nick. He smelled like a man. Speaking,
this man smells like Batman.
He did. You do smell like Batman, Nick. I found one bar of Dr. Squash that I fell in love with.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that's the best smelling bar of soap I've ever got. And I started using it and I threw away the package and I can't remember what it was called.
Oh, no, that's the worst when that happens.
And they've got like 1,000 different fragrances. I'm like, there's no way I'll ever find that again.
Speaking of this kind of stuff, because it seems to some degree we're both fans of being fancy, smelling good, that kind of stuff. What was your verdict on that new cologne you were trying?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. For anyone that doesn't know, it's called Gravité. Don't make fun of me. There is one of those asterisks above the E. Asterisk, right? Is that the word? No.
Accent.
It's got the little accent above the E.
French, Gravité.
French, yeah. So it's Gravité. It's by a company called Particle.
Okay.
It's a Particle, or is it? It's a P name. I think it's Particle.
Pistachio.
Could you imagine? But it's good. It smells good, but it doesn't last as long. I bet it probably lasts 4 hours. And then I feel like like I can't smell it on me now. And I put it on at like 12. So 8 hours later and I can't smell it.
So I told you before that I always had a scent that I liked, and it was 1 Million by Paco Rabanne.
Yes.
And I said, well, if this gets attention, what if I do research and find out what the #1 male cologne is? And it turned out to be something called Eros by Versace.
Yes, that is super popular.
Yep. I bought a thing of that. Never got a comment on it the whole time I was using it. Switched back maybe 3 weeks to a month ago to 1 Million. Awesome comments all the time.
That's crazy. I'm going to have to give me a bottle of it. Just try it out. Because now you got me curious.
No, it's good. I mean, it's popular too. There's some people online that says, oh, it's like, it was used too much back in the day, but I don't know anyone else who uses it now. So
no, there ain't no way. And for the record, I am right. The company is called Particle.
Yes.
You can see the brand. It is Gravité.
Oh, that looks familiar for some reason.
You know what? The bottle reminds me of why can't I think of the name of it? It's the same color of cologne as Navy. Navy has a brand of cologne also. And that's literally what it reminds me of, is that. So
we kind of talk we talk a lot about paranormal investigations and the ones we're going to go on.
Yep.
A lot. Now, there's a thing about a lot of investigations for cryptids and demonic entities and spirits where there's smells involved.
Yes.
I hope that our cologne isn't going to cover up our investigation.
You know, we just have to go in and maybe they'll be interested too. We both use the same cologne, Nick. I'll get this 1 million and then we'll go in and they'll be like, man, these guys smell so good. I want to talk to them. They won't know
how many of us are there.
That's right. They won't know.
Maybe they locate you by smell.
It's possible. Listen, for anyone that doesn't know, we got a little secret weapon that we're going to be using. We can't tell you what it is. A secret weapon.
Oh, I thought you were going to give it away.
No, I ain't going to give it away. That's crazy talk. Can't be telling people our secrets.
I was like, man, I can't wait to talk about this. I didn't think I was going to be able to, but I guess so.
No way, man. They can't know. We got 2 secret weapons, which is en route. I looked at the order today. It's not here yet, but it should be here by this week. It'll be here this week.
I'll just say one thing. Like, these are things you can order, but I think it's pretty much your own invention of using them together.
Yes.
And that's the exciting part. And that's all I'm going to say. That's the best I'll give out on that.
The amazing thing about all of this, to me anyway, is there is multiple different, sorry folks, someone was trying to log into my Microsoft account. Stop it. I got 2-factor authorization. Stop it.
Yeah, you ain't getting in.
You ain't getting in there. I denied it. But what ends up happening is I believe that there's a lot of paranormal investigators that use these devices or some version of it, but they don't tell nobody. Oh, Bert found out.
Got their secrets. And we're going to reveal it like the masked magician.
You doggone right. Do you know that guy after he revealed, he's got a show coming out. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I haven't heard about him in a long time.
It's because he got in trouble.
Oh, with the Society of Magicians, or?
Yes, they completely kicked him out. They wouldn't let him in.
Well, I think that's reasonable. How did they know who they were kicking out?
Because he took his mask off.
Oh.
He revealed himself. There's an entire documentary on it. And he said that if he felt as though the reason he did it, he said, was to make sure that magicians were constantly evolving their craft. And he felt like they weren't.
Right.
And he said that he created the show just to evolve the trade. And everyone got ticked off. Like he said, he could no longer fill stadiums. He could no longer do anything with magic, but now he's got another show coming out where he's going to be breaking it all down. I'm like, that's super fascinating that this dude out of nowhere.
I mean, I think we all know that these are tricks.
Yeah.
But the skill behind them is still impressive.
Oh yeah. Do you know what I liked best about the masked magician?
What's that?
It was on the same week as the X-Files. So the new episodes of the X-Files, I think that came out on Saturdays, I think.
Yeah.
And the Masked Magician was on Fridays.
Right.
So I had 2 of my favorite shows at the same time.
Yeah. When you were a kid, were you fascinated with magic?
Yes. I wanted to be a magician. All full stop, Nick.
Man, me too. For a long time.
I do have one card trick. That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
And it makes everybody mad because I won't tell them the secret.
Well, you shouldn't, especially if you only got one.
Yeah, I only have one good one.
Yeah.
And what it consists of, and I did it on vacation like 12 times. And I started out with my daughter. I think
Right.
it was Ella. Anyway. And the trick is I tell them to pick a card, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we break it all the way down. And at the end, I tell them to go inside the deck and pull the card out. And when they go to get the card, it's not there.
Hmm.
And the reason it's not there is because it's sitting right in front of me.
Oh, that's pretty snazzy.
Yeah. So I did it for Ella and she was like, how'd you do that? And I'm like, I can't tell you. It's a magician thing. And then I did it for my son, Grant. And then he said, okay, like legit, how did you do that? And I'm like, I can't tell you. He's a doggone, I'm a magic trick. What are you talking about? And then I showed my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom just looked at me and she goes, how did you do that? And I'm like, I can't tell you. And she goes, no, I gave birth to you. You will tell me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't. It's the rule. I didn't make the rule.
I made you. I can end you.
That's what it felt like. But I did it for my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I did it with my wife like 3 times.
Yeah.
100% success rate, Nick.
Anyone ever figure it out? Or
on all the years that I've done it, it's like my only cool trick that I can ever do. There's only been one person that's figured it out.
Oh, so there has been one person. Who was it?
It was actually in high school. That's when I started performing the trick.
Maybe you weren't as slick at it back then as you are.
I was just learning. But now I'm so quick with it that, I mean, so I'm anyone that knows I'm in the world of finance, and you got to be very quick thinking. Like you can't stop and just think something through. Like you have to boom, 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 boom. If you're not quick thinking in this industry, you're in trouble. And this card trick requires very quick thinking and manipulation a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And where did you learn it?
I learned it from a mutual high school friend that's all he wanted to do was do magic. Oh. But he was the outcast, and everyone's like, this kid's a nerd. And so he showed me how to do it, and I was pretty good at it. Like I picked it up pretty quick, and he and I were the only two that could do it in high school. And the one kid that figured it out, he never told anybody, which blew my mind.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah. And that kid didn't even like me.
That's a weird situation then.
It was so weird. I'm like, as soon as he figured it out, I'm like, gosh, dang it. Like he's going to tell everyone.
So that sort of outsider kid that was really into magic.
Yeah.
What did he become when he grew up, or do you know?
He died.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. So if you get rid of that other guy, you're the only one who knows it.
That's right. And I don't know where that other guy is.
Look out, fella. He went into hiding.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
But the other kid, he passed away, I think, in his 20s, I believe.
I'm sorry to hear that. He could have really, I would love to know someone who was really into that and just stuck with it and went into that, because that's got to be a fun world to be a part of. It's got to be.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you look at, there's 3 things that I've always said. And luckily, I've always had a brain that's been able to process things relatively quickly.
Right.
I did comedy for a small stint. And you have to be very quick thinking in that too.
Yeah.
So messing around with like comedy. The other thing was mixed martial arts. I was really into that for a while too. And a lot of people goes, oh, it's just fighting. It's really not. Like you have to be really quick thinking, because you can get yourself in a bad situation real quick.
Well, martial arts is a series of questions and answers. They question you and you respond, kind of thing.
Correct. Yes.
So it is an art, and there is a lot of quick thinking in that, because you can memorize every kata in karate.
Yeah.
And if you're not quick enough to use it or know when to use it, what good is it?
Correct. I had a really great instructor back in the day. I didn't have him for super long. I really liked the guy, but at that point, money was like super tight and I couldn't afford the guy anymore. But his name was, I'll never forget him. His name was Derek Campbell.
Okay.
And I was already like a brown belt before I even got to that guy. But it was a new form of martial arts. So you had to start back at white belt. It wasn't a choice.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget when I got into class, he goes, how do you know this so quickly? I'm like, yeah, no, I'm advanced past this in a different in a different stuff. He just did Taekwondo, and I took Kenpo Taekwondo. So it's same, but they make you start it back over. But I took Kenpo Taekwondo, and then I took kickboxing, boxing, and then I messed around a little bit with jujitsu.
Okay.
And jujitsus are really where it's at. Like, that's really it's very thought provoking. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten in trouble, but I saw it coming like way before.
Right.
And it's like chess. Like at that point, you're trying to, like, you don't want them to know that you know what's going on.
Right.
It's kind of like, I think I told you we bought the game Salem 1692, right?
Yeah.
I just bought another game, and I think you've mentioned this one. I think it's called Werewolves. Have you seen that game?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's what I thought that was kind of based off.
And it's very similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's called One Night Ultimate Werewolf this last weekend.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sure it's the same as kind of like what you're talking about. Like everyone gets one card, and that one card determines who they are and yada yada. And I determined my daughter can lie, and she's really good at it, which kind of scares me a little bit.
She's been paying attention, maybe.
That's what everyone else said, Nick. Listen.
I mean, you use yours for good, but
I do.
But I mean,
I do.
That doesn't mean an evil liar couldn't.
Exactly. That's what she is, Nick. She's an evil liar.
Is she an evil liar?
She was. You know how many times I was wrong on stuff, and she just went right along with it, and I'm like, this is my baby girl. Like, she wouldn't lie to me.
Yeah.
And then
I do think back of a story you told me about her.
Yeah? Which one?
She was sneaking your ice cream bars she didn't even want to be eaten.
That's what she did too, Nick. It was my doggone keto ice cream bars.
Yeah. She didn't even like them.
No, they're not as good as the other ones. The other ones had real sugar, Nick.
She was just sneaking them to deny them to you.
That's what I feel like too.
That is evil.
That's evil. That's diabolical.
Oh, yeah.
That's something Skynet would do, Nick.
I promote that.
Speaking of,
go ahead.
Speaking of movies, I watched a movie this weekend, Nick.
Oh yeah, I wanted to hear this. Like, what did you watch?
You're gonna want to watch it. It's on Netflix.
Oh,
do you know what I'm gonna say? What is it?
I have no idea. Oh. No, I asked, is it scary?
No, it's not scary. It's kind of funny, but it's also kind of one of those thinker movies.
Okay.
And it's by our buddy.
Buddy?
Yeah. Our favorite movie producer and writer.
Man, I don't even know who you're talking about.
We talk about his movies all the time, Nick. He made Signs. He made
M. Night Shyamalan.
Yes, sir. He's got a Netflix movie.
I can't even think what it would be.
It's called Trap. Have you heard this?
Oh, I just lied to you. I'm an evil liar. I have seen that.
You did that? You know that's his daughter in that movie.
Yeah, the singer is his daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you watched that movie?
Criticized him for this.
I
liked it.
Oh, me too.
People, yeah.
Freaking Jess and I watched it, and she at the end of it, she goes, "What'd you think?" And I said, "I thought it was good. I liked it."
Yeah.
She goes,
I've not disliked any of his movies.
There was like two I didn't like.
Yeah.
One was that, what is it? Lady in something?
Lady in the Water.
Yeah,
and that's probably my favorite of his.
I didn't like that one.
Second favorite.
I didn't like it. And the second one was, there was a movie that to me, it was disgusting. It was something about a person. There was a person that was like, was that by him? Who was that by? I need to look at M. Night Shyamalan's movies because now I'm super curious. What was your favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie? Was it Signs?
No, not Signs. It was his first one, The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, that one was good too.
He never quite made a movie like that ever again, really.
No, I mean, that was definitely in there. It was definitely one that I thought was pretty good of his.
I think he got too obsessed with twist endings. Like he got too obsessed with that being his thing.
I would say you're probably correct. I mean, here's the list of his movies. He's got Trap, which I enjoyed.
I enjoyed it.
The Sixth Sense. I love that movie.
Oh, yeah. I want to watch that again, actually.
Yeah, I just watched it last year, I think.
Yeah. Does it hold up?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
But of course, the secret. So,
yeah.
As you're going through the movie, you're like, crap, man, I know what's going on now.
So James Van Praagh, I think, tried to sue him and said it was based off of him.
What?
Do you remember this?
No.
No, that guy claimed it was basically his life story.
Oh, man, come on.
Yeah. While you're going through the movies, I'm just going to double check that. But I think he actually tried to sue about that.
Well, he had Split, which I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Unbreakable, I enjoyed. The Watchers, I've not seen. Glass, I enjoyed.
Yeah, I liked all that.
Knock at the Cabin, I enjoyed. Signs. The only weird thing about Knock at the Cabin was it's hard for me to watch The Rock.
Not The Rock.
Or what's the guy's name? He's big like The Rock.
Yeah, I just keep calling him Drax.
Batista or whatever his name is.
Yeah, that's it.
I can't think of his name. But there was The Visit. I enjoyed The Visit. Old. I enjoyed Old.
That's probably my least favorite.
Old?
Yeah. It had some weird, awkward parts in it that the kids and stuff that I didn't appreciate.
Yeah, there was some weird stuff with it.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
No.
The Village. I like The Village.
Yeah, you had told me before that was one of the ones you really liked the twist in.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. The Happening I enjoyed. That's a Mark Wahlberg one.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like that, but I did still like that.
The Last Airbender, I've not seen it.
Yeah, that's totally not his regular genre of movie, and it was okay. I did not like that movie.
The Last Airbender?
Awful.
Why?
So it's based off a very popular cartoon series of the same name. The movie didn't know where it was going. It misrepresented so many different characters. It just was boring.
Wow.
Like I appreciate he was stepping outside his comfort zone, but man, didn't care for it. So that's
he killed it for that one for you, Nick.
What's that?
He killed it for you, just that one movie, Nick.
Well, I still like his other stuff. It's fine.
Lady in the Water.
Yeah.
Caddo Lake.
After I just saw Caddo Lake. That was him?
Yep.
That was a good one too. That's back to his roots, I'd say.
After Earth. Devil, which we just talked about last week.
Yep.
What? These aren't his movies.
Yeah, I didn't know
I don't
that
think
some of
so.
those were his.
It says Stuart Little is his too. What? No, it ain't. There ain't no way. What's this talking about? Stuart Little. There ain't no way. Why would they put this in his movies for?
Weird.
The Google machine says this is his, but it's not his. I have no clue. Literally, I'm looking at M. Night Shyamalan movies, and it says all of these. After Earth, I don't know what that is. I've never seen it. Caddo Lake, I've never seen.
Yeah.
Devil, I know is his.
Actually, that After Earth, that triggered a memory of one thing I did want to talk about, by the way.
Oh, yeah? What you got?
Yeah. This is, and you can tell me if I'm overhyping this or not, but this is one of the most exciting things I've heard in a long time.
Okay.
We all know the James Webb Telescope. It replaced the Hubble.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of extra features that Hubble didn't. Like it can detect molecules way out in space. Well, there's a bunch of planets that we know that are in habitable zones, and we judge that based on Earth and the distance from a star and all that kind of stuff. Well, we'd had our eyes on an exoplanet called K2-18b. And that planet's like about 8.6 times the size of Earth. So we don't normally look at those size planets as sustaining life.
Yeah.
Well, James Webb Telescope detected a molecule called dimethyl sulfide. or DMS on that planet in quite significant numbers. Now, if you've never heard of that before, I'm not surprised I hadn't either.
Yeah,
but
no clue.
That molecule, as far as we know, and on Earth, is only produced by living organisms.
Huh.
So to the extent of our knowledge, that's the only way that molecule can be produced. So they're reasonably sure that that planet has an ocean underneath an oxygen or a hydrogen rich atmosphere, and that it has life, which could probably be sea life. It could be anything. It could be animals on the surface. It could be anything like that. And that sort of changes science because we never considered planets or exoplanets of that size to be capable of sustaining life. So that opens up trillions of other planets that could have life that we just don't look at for life.
You know what that means?
Life.
We got to go there and conquer it and then take it over, Nick.
That's right. I heard there's oil on that planet.
There's oil on that planet, Nick.
That's what we got to tell people. There's oil there. We'll be there in a half hour.
That's right. No problems at all. Listen, this is why we always think aliens is out to get us, Nick.
Yeah. So we think they might be using oil.
Exactly. We can't take no chances.
No. But this is exciting. This means that with our current knowledge, that means that planet has to have life on it.
Well, sometimes I find that our scientific minds is a whole lot of talk and not necessarily a whole lot of truth.
Right. Now, they're very careful to say with our current knowledge.
Yeah.
So there could be, very easily could be, another way to produce this, but we just don't know of it. We've never seen it. We've never observed it being produced any other way.
The way that I look at it is we're just barely smarter than a primate at this point.
That is true.
So, it's hard for me to sit back and go, okay, yeah, this is probably legit. I struggle with it, and our scientists are by far the most smart people there is.
Right.
So, I mean, you're listening to a podcaster and you guys want to argue with me in our freaking comments about crazy stuff like that.
Right. Well, I mean, I definitely believe on life out in space. 100%. And this just makes me think it might be closer than I expect it to be.
Which is very possible. I wouldn't
I want it to be too, though.
Well, yeah, Nick, because then you've got some way of living.
Yeah.
You got something to live for.
I want to get off this hellhole and move to another planet.
Well, that's the thing. As soon as we start getting to the point to where we could probably figure it out, we'll probably have another freaking Mandela effect and go into another parallel universe.
We're back again.
Exactly.
All I can think is home prices on K218B are probably better than Canada.
Oh, yeah. Probably so, Nick.
The commute to work's going to be killer. But, I work from home.
That is valid. Speaking of the Mandela effect, Nick, I have been excited to show you something.
Oh, I am interested because this is, there's no such thing as bad publicity. This is one of the things that we've done that got a lot of notice.
Yeah, the Mandela effect did really well for us. A lot of people super into the Mandela effect.
Yeah. It's just too weird not to have something.
Oh, yeah.
With it,
Well, when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, right? It's like, why do so many people remember things a certain way? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a picture, Nick, and I want you to look at these pictures. And for anyone that's at home, I'm going to pop. Oh. Nick.
Uh-oh.
It's too big. Discord, I swear to God, Discord hates me.
Can you share it on your screen here?
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to download all three of these and then I'm going to just share them. There's 3 images and I really found this super interesting.
So these must be new instances of the Mandela effect.
Nope.
No. Okay. Well, I guess I got to wait and see.
So I'm going to share my screen. I am going to, let me get off this image because I don't want to give away the punchline. Yoink. I'm going to go here. I'm going to open up downloads. Because, the punchline on this, Nick, is going to be pretty epic, is what I'm going to say.
Well, you're building it up the way I built up life on other planets. So we'll see if we've both got something here.
Oh, we got something here, Nick. All right. So I am going to share this window. So everyone at home should be able to see this.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure you've seen discs like this back in the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
The old Berenstein Bears.
Yeah.
And this is the way that we know that it's spelled. The Berenstein. Now, other people say that's not the correct spelling. Right?
Right.
And even if you zoom in, right, like you can see.
Okay.
But what happens when you flip that disc over, Nick? Do you know?
Oh, no. It can't be different on the other side of this disc.
So on the other side of the disc, which is what makes this so interesting, and I'm going to pop this up for everyone to see at home, and so Nick can see it. Look at this.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No.
On the same disc.
On the same disc. Explain that one for me, Nick. And if you look, it shows the disc number, the incorrect, the way that some of us remember it.
Right.
The Bears learning lessons. And then at the, very bottom, you can see the, so this is a legit disc. So on the front.
I feel like I'm being manipulated now.
You know what I'm saying?
That this is a real thing, but it's someone doing this to us.
Which is possible.
Right.
I found this image and I was absolutely blown away. And the people in the thing said, well, no, it's just a distribution company that just screwed it up.
I don't know.
But it's like, how is that a thing that you have one spelling on one side?
Right.
And on the other side, you have a completely different spelling.
Well, that part on most DVDs or CDs isn't even super easy to see.
No.
Like they had to put some special lighting there and you had to zoom right in on it.
Right.
You know what it makes me think back to sometimes?
What's that?
I really like the theory about time shifts and like alternate universes and stuff like that. But I also think back to, remember the episode we did on Polybius?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And how it was all like experiments on how they could control people and what people will believe if you manipulate them in certain ways.
Oh, yeah.
I'm wondering this kind of stuff, like the Mandela stuff, is a continuation of those experiments.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be shocked because I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, I remember Fruit of the Loom having the cornucopia.
I do too.
Like blatantly.
Yeah. And the company claims it never did, but someone proved them wrong.
There was a picture that I saw recently where it was, I think it was on the back of a shirt label, and it wasn't a full cornucopia. It just looked like the cornucopia is on the side.
Right.
And somebody said, oh, it's just leaves. Why would it be leaves? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But it's always the argument, right? Like, I feel like we're already taught to think a certain way, and that's part of the problem. Like,
yeah,
we go through the process of being told, okay, this is what you're supposed, a great example of that is, and I'm not going to go too deep into it, but my son said something a couple days ago and I was walking away and I stopped and I went back and I said, where did you hear that from? Like where, and it's like, there's certain things that I think you need to leave out of some things. And that's politics, religion, things like that when it comes to kids television, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And he had said that he had heard a certain thing based on his favorite YouTuber.
Okay.
That creates kid content.
Right.
And I'm like, I told Jess after he walked away, said, this is part of this whole programming.
Right.
You know, it's like someone that's in a cult. It just depends on which cult you're in.
Right.
And the fact that, you know, it's like when you look at our kids, right? They go to school all day. If there is a agenda that's being pushed,
right,
and they're pushed, the best place to push it's in school, or nowadays it's, you know, on kids' television, or especially YouTube. Like it's easy to, it's like the AI thing we talked about last week, where you can feed it propaganda and AI doesn't know any better.
Right. Well,
and
it just becomes part of its database, basically.
Correct. So you don't really, if you don't double check stuff, and I feel like most people do not,
right,
that's what you're going to believe.
Yeah.
And that's exactly.
So was this a religious thing or a political thing? You don't have
political
to tell me what
thing.
it is. Okay.
Completely political.
I feel like that's against YouTube's terms. Like, because, you know, this person, if it's a children's YouTuber, they have to check that thing that says this is meant for children.
Right.
I don't even care what side of it they're trying to influence kids on, but that's something that everyone should be against, and that's called indoctrination.
Correct. And it's like I told my son, I said, and I was trying to explain it to him, and you know, he's 13. So he's at that age where, you know, he'll just go with something. And he goes, well, it's not intended to be bad. It's meant to be funny. And I'm like, but that's part of the problem. Like to you, it's funny, but in your mind, that person's also becoming a joke.
Right.
So, and then when I asked a few series of questions, he went right down the path that I knew he was going to go down. And I'm like, this is so messed up, because if they're watching it there and then they're going to school and they're hearing something there, you know, as a parent, we really only see our kids from when we get off work until they go to bed. That's like 4 or 5 hours.
Right.
Well, if they spent the rest of the time being indoctrinated, like how do you as a parent, like I remember when I was a kid, I'm sure it happened too, but we didn't have kids television like nowadays.
Yeah. Well, I know when I went to school and even when I was watching television, I didn't have 2 clues about politics or different religions, really. And I think it's fine to learn about the different ones, but not to say, oh, this is better.
Right. Like, think about it. As kids, Nick, all we learned was violence and smoking. Like, what bad could have happened with that?
I know. And I love both those things. I wish I had my stage cigarette that I got from when I volunteered at the theater. I took one with me. Yeah. It looks so real. Like, just...
That's funny. I got a new one for you, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll find this interesting too. So, you know, the National Weather Service, sometimes it puts like videos and pictures up and stuff like that, you know, especially when they're talking about different things. Well, in Fayette County, Pennsylvania, they was doing one of their post-storm surveys. You know, that's kind of where they go out, and I don't know if I'm assuming they probably have them in Canada too. They'll like go out and survey damage, and they'll do all these things. They'll document like, well, all these trees fell down and, you know, whatnot. It's all that kind of stuff. Well, basically, they were doing one of these things and they took a photo. And this was on live TV, Nick. And I want to show you a picture. And I'm wondering how quickly you're going to pick up on this.
Okay.
And for those of you at home, I want you to play the game too. I think that this could be a fun game to play at home. Let me zoom in a little bit. Is anything standing out to you?
Yes, it does. I see a Sam Squanch. It's clear as day. I could see it before you zoomed in there.
Yeah.
Can you zoom in more that I can see it better?
Absolutely. Maybe? Yeah. 100%. Oops. Hold on.
Oh, look at that. Isn't that something?
Now, here's the thing. This looks like a man to me.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, when you think about that for distance, this is bigger than this, and it's further away.
Yeah, that's way back there.
That's way back there.
Well, let's let's use what we have in the picture for context here.
Yeah.
So the fence looks significantly bigger than the old man as far as he is back there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that old man is probably twice the size of that fence.
Yes.
And that old man looks about half the size of the Sasquatch. So how big does that make the Sasquatch?
Well, here's what they're saying, because of course it's like the NASA videos, right? It's like we find a UFO in a NASA video and they're like, it's just a space rock. Stop it.
So what are they saying about this one?
So what? And I don't know if you're going to argue the same thing I'm going to argue here in a second, but what they're saying is it's probably just just probably a decoration, just a decoration out there.
What was the situation that they're reporting on here?
Just
damage
the damage,
from a hurricane?
Storm damage. See how this tree fell down on this fence?
Yeah.
That's what they were documenting. If it's a flimsy
decoration, wouldn't it have fell down?
Well, you sure would think this, but look at this. If I zoom in, most they've got Bigfoot decorations, and the Bigfoot decorations typically painted all black, right? Does this not look like the bottom of a face?
It sure does.
Like that's a different
sloping
color
of the head and everything like that.
Yeah, that just seems very odd to me. And again, this is pixelated. I could have cleaned it up a little bit, but I don't want people to go, he's using AI to doctor these images. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, that doesn't look like a decoration to me.
Doesn't to me either.
No, even when I'm specifically looking at that, if it is, it's a very detailed one.
Well, and they're saying that it could be like one of those metal silhouettes that people put up just to kind of mess with people. It just adds a little personality to people's yards and stuff. But I find it odd.
Still would be massive, by the way.
Oh, it'd be massive. That thing would be huge, Nick. Now, here's the thing. The first weird sighting was all the way back in 1977, right?
Right.
And a family said they saw the shaggy red brown creature bolt down a 40-foot embankment. In 2004, two buddies were biking. They swore they saw a 7-foot making cat noises of all things. And then in 2013, some guy spotted an 8-foot caveman looking creature at a distance, right? Pennsylvania is actually, when you look at with the good old sassafras, doggone Sasquatch, they're the top 10 in Bigfoot reportings in the entire United States.
Where at again?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yep. A lot of times they just say it's just big bears. Maybe it's a hoax. Maybe it's something entirely different. But people are looking at this photo going, you guys are just making excuses. That's clearly a Bigfoot captured clear as day. And, this is from the National Weather Service. Now no one can say that. Why didn't you get a good image? I mean, we're talking, this is National Doggone Weather Service. They didn't even get a good picture.
Yeah, that is interesting. I think if that is a decoration, it's more detailed than I expect, and it's way bigger than I'd expect.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, I've seen the big decorations before, the ones they're talking about, like the ones that's like 7-8 foot tall. I've seen those.
Like those skeletons they do on Halloween that are popular now.
But here's the thing. If we're talking about storm damage and that thing is still out there, that's either the best decoration ever.
I know.
Or something's going on.
And like oftentimes it storms, like animals get driven out of their natural habitats and stuff like that. That happens all the time. Correct.
I don't know. I found it extremely interesting, though. I saw that picture. I'm like, that's a doggone Sasquatch if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. I'd like to know, about we can't tell, but about the area, like, is that wooded area back there like a massive forest in back? Or?
Well, Pennsylvania is a lot of forest.
It's what?
It's a lot of forest.
Right.
So, I mean, in my opinion, like when it comes to Bigfoot, like that's probably one of the best places for Bigfoot to happen.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, like, so where I'm from is a pretty small island. Like you have to zoom pretty far in the map to see it. And the interior of the island, because people always built along the coastlines back in the day, it's a very old settlement.
Yeah.
The interior of the island, there's woods there, thick woods. And sometimes animals come out of that woods that we're not even aware is native to the area.
Isn't that crazy?
Like we had a fully white albino deer I mean, that can happen all the time, but we don't really have a lot of deer on that island at all. And we have an all white albino one. There's wildcats in the forest. Like, we don't even have that in this end of the province usually.
That's insane.
And that's just a small island. Like, I could walk from, and I have, like, on Halloween, we walked from one end to the other and back in a single night. And there's things in that forest that we just don't even know that they exist in there.
Do you guys have a lot of Sasquatch sightings there? Do you have any?
We don't have many,
mm-hmm.
but we have them from time to time. Like, there's an old exhibition grounds that we have. Exhibitions been going on there for like hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And people for a while saw them coming out of the woods right besides that.
That's insane.
Yeah.
One of our states here in the United States,
mm-hmm.
they're trying to pass a bill of all things. It's called Assembly Bill 666.
Okay. Or
but it's actually numbers. It's California. California is trying to make Bigfoot its official cryptid.
Really?
Yeah, it's a real bill. Like, it's legit.
I don't know if this is a fact or not. I want to look it up before I say it.
Uh-huh.
But I had heard that the national animal of Scotland. Yep, it's true. Do you know what it is?
I have no clue.
Unicorn.
What?
That's the official national animal of Scotland.
That's crazy.
And there are laws against harming them. A lot of your states already have laws against harming Bigfoot.
Which, kind of makes sense.
Yeah, because I mean, we're all of us are in the dark about whether this is real or not. There's no one who can say definitively it doesn't exist. But it's a good idea that if they do, we shouldn't hurt them.
Well, I found it interesting, and I didn't know a whole lot about this. When this bill came up, I was a little bit shocked because I didn't think like Sasquatch was, the doggone sassafras was a big deal in California. Like, I really didn't think it was.
I haven't heard of many stories in California about them.
Here's what's interesting about that, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
When you kind of like what you're talking about, different conferences or like there's the UFO conferences that's around Area 51 and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of find out in Willow Creek, California,
mm-hmm.
You're basically stepping into a Bigfoot theme park.
Really?
Yeah, there's a Bigfoot restaurant, Bigfoot burger, Bigfoot golf course. The whole town kind of leans into it. But here's why. Back in 1958, a road crew that was working in Bluff Creek stumbled upon these massive, absolutely massive footprints in the mud. And the tracks, they looked like they were way too big to be any of them or anyone that could have been walking around. And it was a barefoot. It wasn't like a shoe kind of print.
Right.
The crew's foreman, his name was J. Crew.
Yeah.
He was a crew's foreman. His name's Jerry Crew. But he cast one of them in plaster.
Right.
And he brought it to the Humboldt Times.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where all of that started from.
Yeah.
So
just from that
one event.
Wow.
And it's pretty interesting that that's kind of the thing that put that on the map. And apparently that's like a huge story. When you look at Bigfoot, that's one of the bigger stories.
Well, it's not Bigfoot. Well, actually, before I even mention that yet, man, I'm struggling which one I want to mention first. But I really want to go to one of these towns that has made a UFO event or a cryptid a big deal there. Like year round, they've got themed restaurants and stuff like that. Like one place I can think of is the Marfa Lights. Like that town, I think around there has really leaned into this. Roswell, of course. I'd love to visit that kind of thing. We have a famous UFO incident and we've got signs up about it, but we only do like a conference once a year. We don't really lean into it like we should.
Isn't that crazy?
It is. To me, it is crazy.
Like you would think like the Mothman, like if you go to that, they got the Mothman Museum.
Right.
They got the Mothman Pizza Shop.
Yeah. Yeah. All we've got is one quote unquote museum. It's got nothing in there really. and half of it's selling bread and peanut butter and groceries. Like, I mean, I'm not disparaging them, but like we could be doing a lot more with this for tourism.
Well, we're going to these haunted attractions this year, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
1 year, we should go look for the Mothman.
I would love to go look for the Mothman.
We could go to the museum. We could go to the pizza joint and have their Mothman pizza.
Man, that would be fun. And I love pizza.
Well, they make a Mothman out of it.
Wow.
They put
That's gonna be cool.
They put two
like pepperonis or something.
Well, yeah, it's made out of pepperoni. Like that's how they do it. But the eyes are they put like the olives. They use a lot of olives and stuff in it too.
Right.
But like the eyes and everything, they create it right there on the pizza. It's like a big deal. Yeah, but they got that Mothman museum, which is fascinating. They should be doing that. We should do that. I'm telling you, Nick.
Yeah, we should do that. And like, bravo for the town for doing that.
Oh yeah, dude, that is so cool to have something like that. And the cool thing is, like, they've got the original handwritten statements from everyone inside the museum.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Like that kind of stuff is fascinating to me.
It is. It's like, it's a part of history, but it's also a mystery.
It's that fringe that we lean on, Nick.
Yeah, and I like places where you might go where it's kind of the popular thing to be into.
Correct.
Like, I'd love to meet people who are like super into that. Like, you know, I'd actually like to meet a real conspiracy theorist that's like living the life.
Oh yeah.
I think 100%. That kind of person's fascinating to me too.
Well, if you think about it, right, it's like when we talk about it in the grand scheme of things and what we do, right? Like eventually I feel like we're going to be put into some of those categories because we're the weird guys that talk about this stuff. You know
kind of, but we go out there and we live like regular lives where people don't really suspect.
We do
we're
now.
Into this kind of stuff. We do now. But even then people would be like, well, most of the time these guys are normal.
Yeah.
I want to meet someone who's like decking out a bunker, living in the desert, wears
an
army fatigues, like, and they're like certain that someone or something's going to come and get them any day.
See, I feel like eventually we will be at some of these talks or these conferences.
Yeah.
And we'll just be the two nerds that that had a podcast and talked about this stuff.
Yeah. But we'd be the least passionate people there, probably. Most interested, least passionate.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, I find those kind of people fascinating. Like, even if I'm like, what you believe in is not real, I still find them fascinating.
Oh, 100%. Because here's the thing, Nick. None of us truly know, right?
No.
It's like for my podcast this week, I've got an interview that's coming out this week, and I recreated the entire story.
Right.
And I like weaved in the woman talking about it. But, you know, one of the things that she and I talked about in the interview is it's amazing how we live in a day and age where people are more, what's the word I'm looking for? More conversational about the things that happen. Right.
Yeah.
But the problem is the skeptics are such skeptics.
Right.
That it's like you could literally have a ghost walk up to them and they'd be like, oh, that's a magic trick.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to me. But she's like, the other thing that we have a problem with is we live in a day of AI where you truly don't know what's real and what's fake anymore.
Well, how do you prove it? Because it used to be a picture would be proof.
Right.
Or a video recording would be proof.
Right.
Or a voice recording would be proof. None of that's proof now.
No.
Like, so, but the skeptics, I think, are a product of the environment. Because, like, if I came up to you every day and punched you in the shoulder.
Yeah.
For, like, your whole life. And then I walk up to you one day and you sort of flinch. And I'm just like, oh, why would you do that?
Right.
I think it's reasonable that you expect you're being tricked.
Oh, for sure.
But then on the other side of that, we've got the people who really do believe in things and believe that there's conspiracies who have been lied to every day of their life.
Right.
So why would they not think that they're being lied to also?
That's the thing. We just don't know.
It's two ways of handling the same situation, kind of.
It is.
Yeah. It's weird like that. But, so here's the other thing I wanted to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of related more to the Sasquatch thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere you go on this planet, everywhere, people can tell you ghost stories.
Oh,
we
yeah.
think that ghosts are everywhere, that kind of thing. But not everyone knows just about as much about ghosts as they do about Sasquatches or Mothmen or stuff like that. But you don't get stories of Sasquatches in very large areas. It's only in certain areas you get them, and you get a lot of them.
Yeah.
Now, it could very easily be anywhere. Like anywhere there's a big forest, you could think there could be Sasquatches there, but people don't say that there are. So to me, this kind of means like there's patches where there are cryptids and people see them because people don't invent them just where they're not there.
You know, it's super interesting that we're talking about this because an old employee of mine,
right,
the last company that I worked at, he and I got in this big, huge conversation about Bigfoot and Sasquatch.
Yeah.
And he had mentioned that he has went to these conventions,
right,
where there are hundreds and sometimes thousands of people that all believe they've had. And he goes, what's fascinating is you sit there and you listen to their stories. And I, exactly like what you're talking about, I sit there and I think to myself, like there's thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of ghost stories.
Right.
And it's fascinating because there's different, there, even depending on what you are, as far as what your belief system is.
Right.
Like, I got another interview that's coming up on my podcast. We're actually recording it this Saturday, me and the person, but she's a green witch and she has a completely different perspective on that entire realm, which is super fascinating.
Right.
And it's like, there's all these ghost stories, but there's really not a lot of Bigfoot stories that I know. I have one relative that swears up and down he saw one, and that's it.
I've not got any.
That's insane.
So, like, let's just imagine we took every ghost story that we could ever find and we put a pin in the map. The whole world is going to be covered except probably Antarctica and
probably so
far north and that kind of thing. But I bet you if we took every Sasquatch story that we could find, you'd find it that they're forming patterns, like maybe along a mountain or in this big forest area, but this big forest area doesn't have any.
Do you know where they are, Nick?
Where?
National parks.
National parks. That's kind of like what I was getting to.
Yeah.
There's something about those. Like,
it's awful funny. The government, they don't let us play around in those areas very much.
Right. You can visit them and stuff, but you can't dig. You can't go certain places. Like, it's weird.
Do you know somewhere else where you can't do those things, Nick?
Where?
You got another story. You and I talked about it before we jumped on here. You want to tell our friends about our Egyptian story?
Yeah, that's true. We can tell them about it.
Yep.
Do you want to go for that, and then I'll explain why I don't? Wasn't gonna present it. Or?
Nope. I want you to dig into it. Tell them all the nitty gritty, Nick. Because here's the thing. They're going to automatically say, I see Bert's a believer again. I want to hear the nitty gritty. I want to hear all the goods on this, Nick. Because listen, folks, just before we get too far deep into this thing, okay? The doggone UFOs are underneath pyramids, folks.
Yeah, we can agree on that.
They're underneath them. They're just waiting.
So this is the thing, because people can say believer, not believer, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we both came to this podcast pumped to tell this story.
Yep.
And then we kind of a little bit abandoned it because we read a little more on there. But
I was so distraught, folks. I deleted my version. I'm like, screw this story then.
I gotta say I was a little disappointed as well, because it would have been huge.
Oh, yeah. This would be
I ranked this right up there with like discovering life on another planet kind of thing.
I would agree with that.
Man, I've got two big stories that are going to just knock people's socks off. Because one you're starting to hear all over the place, and that is the one that they did a special kind of radar scan, or not radar, but do you remember what it was called?
I think it's called SAR, I think.
Yeah.
SAR, I think.
Sonic acoustic or something like that.
Here's the problem with most of this science stuff, and this is where I think a lot of this we get in trouble. We know just enough to get ourselves in trouble.
Yeah, that's the truth. But I think we're going to be on the right side of this time, because everyone's reporting this right now. And I guess we'd be kind of irresponsible not to talk about it.
I mean, probably so.
Yeah.
I mean, so scientists say they've located using synthetic aperture radar, SAR technology.
Yeah. So I was totally wrong on what that stood for.
Close enough.
But yeah. So here's the deal. They claim that they scanned around. Well, they claim that they scanned from within the Khafre pyramid. And that with this scan, they penetrated the earth, and it was something like 700 meters down. There's these pillars with stairwells on them going down. And then like a couple kilometers or miles under the surface, they claim there's a big structure, like almost like a little city under there kind of thing. And since everyone was reporting it, even a couple newspapers that I'm familiar with that I thought were kind of reputable, I thought, oh, this has got to be a thing. Like, this has got to be real. I was seeing it so many places. No one was really disputing it. So I dug a little deeper into it. And one of the big helps with that was Snopes.com, which specifically digs into the past of these things. And they showed examples of the SAR readings and how it works. There's no way you'd be able to inference that from those images. On top of that, those scientists that were mentioned, although they do exist, were not allowed to do that from inside that pyramid. So that's false. And they trace a story back to 1998 and a book that someone had tried to propose this once before. Mm-hmm. And then when they traced it back to who's claiming this, it's a lady who runs a UFO-centric website, and they couldn't find any sources contemporary with hers. Now, there's a name that comes up, and no matter what he says, people disagree with him. And I know a lot of people listening are not going to be fans of him, but Zahi Hawass.
Yeah, no one likes him.
Right. So he says it's absolutely impossible. And just him saying that, I think, drives a lot of people to say it's a cover-up.
Well, it doesn't help the case, right?
No. I mean, people just don't like the guy. They think that he's covering things up. And you know what? Maybe he is.
I think he is.
But have you come across any like examples of SAR scanning?
No, I'll be honest. I hadn't really heard of a lot of this until this case. Now, here's something that I will say.
Mm-hmm.
When we look at things like Snopes,
right?
And again, you know, you and I have even seen correlations when we talk about national parks, right? Like, why is all these weird things happening in national parks? Like, it just doesn't make sense, right?
Right.
My point being, occasionally, if they want to cover something up, they're not immune to it. Correct. Yeah. So my issue is, just until literally last week, JFK was shot by one man.
Right.
Last week, that the cover was blown right off the ball with that. So my thing is if that can happen,
right, and
we don't find out the truth because it was covered up, and it covered up to a degree that was so significant.
Yeah.
How can you believe anything? And then you sit back, and because here's the thing, right? Like when we talk about our good old buddy in Egypt there, right?
Right.
He's the quote unquote expert.
Right.
if anything else comes out with the exception of what he says, well, that can't be real.
Well, that's exactly what people are saying. And I will say one thing in their defense.
Yeah.
He doesn't know that there's nothing under there.
Correct.
He just doesn't think there is, and he's got no reason to believe there is. Our technology isn't advanced enough to portray what these people are reporting.
Right.
Simple as that.
But they have videos of these people walking in these tunnels that he says doesn't exist.
Yeah. No, I believe that he is wrong or misleading about
I think he's misleading.
Stuff.
Yeah.
But the story that everyone's reporting right now, I just don't believe it at all. You do not know how bad I wanted this story to be real.
I think it is real. Listen, folks, stay with Team Bird on this one. It's real.
I want to believe, like I'm that poster in the X-Files basement. I want to believe. But looking at the technology we have, if it could do that, we'd be uncovering everything. Oak Island would be solved today.
Oh, I wish you wouldn't have said that, Nick. I know something on that too, but I know we're over that hour mark.
Use your best judgment.
Here's what I'll say, and maybe we'll cover this next week.
I am interested because it's in my backyard, basically.
So someone came out with a video showing that they're just milking this thing for TV at this point.
I believe that right now. You don't even have to provide me more evidence.
Yeah, he's saying that all this stuff has already been found, and he has photographic evidence as well as radar scans that shows all the things that's been documented so many years ago. But at this point, they're just trying to make money on a TV show, and that's exactly why. And we'll go into more detail. I think I'll probably bring that up next week. I'll do a little segment. So you're going to want to check in next week for sure, because we're going to talk about Oak Island. We did an entire episode, 2 episodes on Oak Island.
Oh, yeah. It was a 2-parter, which we were quite fond of at the time.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, if there's no treasure there, they're just making one.
They're saying that they believe that treasure is now gone.
I've thought that for a while. Or I have an alternate theory that I'll also tell you about on the next episode.
Oh, that's going to be fascinating. There's a video of a guy that explains it all. Maybe I'll queue up that video. I actually have it on my phone because I'm like, eventually we're going to talk about this because I find it so fascinating. Because listen, I watched Oak Island, I think for like 3 seasons. I don't even know what season 96. What season are they on right now?
I may or may not have gone on that island before they started the TV show.
Nick will neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah.
How many seasons are there?
The Oak Island Inn that overlooks Oak Island. First place I ever tried escargot.
Really?
Yeah.
Did it make you sick?
No, I loved it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Basically snails with a pile of cheese on it. What could go wrong?
Yeah, what could go wrong? They are currently on season 12.
Yeah.
So think about it. They've been milking this bad boy for 12 years.
Oh, yeah. They've made enough to fund it 10 times over with this TV show.
Oh, yeah.
Like
they've made more money on the TV show than what they probably could with the things that's down there.
Yeah, that's why I said that if there's not a treasure there, they're making a treasure.
Correct.
And harvesting it every day.
Correct. So we'll definitely talk about that next week. I'll bring that for sure to the episode. But hopefully y'all enjoy this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to give it a thumbs up no matter where you're listening to the podcast. Also, if you've not hit the subscribe button, what are you waiting on with your doggone life? Listen, this ain't free.
Yeah. This is we need the credit.
Exactly.
We need the credit, guys.
And the most important thing, if you love old Nick and Bert, share this episode because YouTube's holding us down, baby.
Yep. It's not fair.
It's not fair. But definitely make sure that you share, tell your friends about us. Hopefully you've all enjoyed this. Until we see you on the next podcast, goodbye.
Bye-bye.